Welcome to our second live stream. I'm super excited to be here with Sam. I'll get back to you, Sam, in a second. I'm going to do a little bit of an intro on social media and then I'm going to get back to you, okay?
Absolutely. No worries.
We are going to discuss today the importance of social media management and engagement for small businesses. So, in today's digital age, having a strong social media presence is crucial for businesses of all sizes. We happen to help small businesses, but all sizes can benefit, as well as people like consultants and one offs who do business for themselves. By effectively managing your social media accounts and engaging with your audiences, you can build brand awareness, increase your customer loyalty, and actually drive sales. During this live stream today, we'll be sharing some valuable tips on insights on how to create a successful social media strategy. We'll be covering topics such as content creation, audience targeting, and how to measure your success. Additionally, we'll answer some of those frequently asked questions that we get from small business owners about social media management and engagement. So, whether you're just starting out or looking to improve your social media strategy, this live stream is for you. So, sit back and relax and get ready to learn how to take your social media presence to the next level. So, I'm here with Sam, one of our marketing associates at BC and Associates Marketing. He's been on our team for over a year now, and he lives and breathes social media every day for his clients. So, welcome to your first live stream, Sam.
Thank you very much, Beverly, for having me. I'm super excited to talk about it. Now, I think after a year, like it's crazy to say I'm an expert. But I mean, all the experiences, like living with literally social media every day, it just makes me understand a little bit more about like all the it's and abouts of like everything we have to do to be successful, as you said, on this digital age where everything is like literally based off social media. So yeah, super
So,
excited
well,
to
you've
be.
only been doing it for about a year, Sam. I've been doing it since
Yeah,
2004 or so.
crazy.
Since the advent of social media, I have been on the front edge of it. So when Twitter first came out, I used to belong in Detroit to a networking group called Tweet Tea, and every week we would meet up in real life and talk about Twitter and social media tools. And I was giving talks on how to use LinkedIn for business back in the 2000s, really, really early 2000s for businesses as well. Like I did it for the marketing and sales executives of Detroit. I did it for Automation Alley. I was always kind of talking about how social media can help your business. Even then, even before Facebook was kind of like a thing, and now Facebook is just huge. So I wanted to start kind of on a few statistics on why social media even matters to small businesses. Social media usage is still on the rise, despite it being around for so long. According to recent data, there are now over 3.8 billion media users worldwide. And I know, Sam, you are in Colombia, South America. You went to college here in the US, and we met when you were in your last year of college or right after college. And now you are back in Colombia. But it's it's huge everywhere. It's not just here; it's huge everywhere. And that is
Actually,
a
talking about that, I actually saw a post yesterday on Instagram where it said like the average amount per day that users of each country use social media, and it was crazy because the second most country was Colombia. The
oh
first, I
wow!
think, it was
Look
like
at that.
The Philippines or Singapore or Indonesia. Um, but it was crazy because I saw Colombia second. I was like, what? Like 4 hours a day, which probably is a little bit low for what like most people use, because some people really just use social media all day. So
All
yeah, it
day.
was
I
crazy.
know I'm on it in the morning, in the afternoon, like, but we do it for a living. So actually,
Exactly.
sometimes we need to take a break, like because we are on it so much.
Yeah.
But screen time has changed, right? It used to be like when I was a kid, you don't get out from in front of the TV and maybe some video games because those were kind of newer. And now it's like there's so many screens, right? So it's like it's a whole different time. But that's a huge audience potential for um oh Sam's helping me out here because like I'm still with all the buttons. Thanks, Sam. I'll make myself bigger. um So I think it's still like it's a huge potential for small businesses to tap into essentially. And if you're ignoring that as a small business, you're ignoring a huge potential for your business. Not only for loyalty, customer acquisition, but also to just engage and create customer loyalty. And I even say raving fans if you do it
Right.
well, which many of our clients have raving fans. So video content is really the thing. Thus, my attempt at doing some live streams and some different things. Super outside of my comfort zone. I don't think that Sam's super comfortable either. I don't think most people are really like, oh, I love to do a video. However, people get to know you through video. They
Yeah,
get to
absolutely.
build trust and see you. And if it's not perfect, like maybe somebody doesn't put the screen on the right size and like it's not balanced, but they see that you're real and that's what matters, right? We're trying to
Right.
connect. It doesn't have to be uber professional. It doesn't have to be uber perfect. I think actually people think that's super fake, so they'd rather
Yeah,
see you in
I
like
agree.
all of your glory, right? So, but in fact, so videos on social media generate 1,200% more shares than text and image content combined.
Mm.
So video is king. You cannot ignore it anymore. It is time to get on the video bus. I always joke, like I give my clients like a day to complain about it, and then we're done. We're
Do it.
next. It's doing it. Just
Yeah.
rip the band-aid off, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. The more you feel like okay, and then obviously the tools become more comfortable, so you know not to make some of those mistakes and things like that. So the more you do it, the better you are. And then social media can drive sales. Social media platforms provide a direct line of communication between businesses and customers. No longer are you spraying and praying on TV a commercial. You are actually targeting where they live, if they have a pet, if they have a degree, if they have a house. Like can really target right down to the actual consumer and spend your money better because you have limited funds. It can be more targeted to your customer. In fact, 70% of consumers say that they have made a purchase on something that they saw on social media. 70%. So it's significant.
Yeah,
And again, like authenticity is key. Like just being you is what's the most important thing, right?
it's true.
And then consistency, just making sure you're posting consistently. In fact, businesses that post at least once a day on Instagram see the best engagement rates, for example. So you just want to make sure you're consistent in it too. So we did a live stream last month. We're doing a live stream this month. We're going to try to do it every single month. That is my goal. So hopefully we can do it. But with that being said, social media is just important and it is a huge part of a marketing plan nowadays. I don't think we work with any customer that doesn't understand the value of social media and the importance of social media, that doesn't do Facebook lives and Instagram lives. And it's just, that is where we're at. So we help our customers navigate this because one of the things that happens is social media is changing all the time, right? So we kind of are in it knee deep every single day. So as a social media manager, Sam, you wear many hats. So talk about what it's like to be a social media manager and the different roles you play throughout a typical day and how that contributes actually to the ultimate social media strategy and the bigger marketing plan for one of our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the question, I guess, answers itself when when it says that we wear many hats because we don't only see one picture, but we have to actually see the whole picture and the whole strategy from top to bottom on how we want things to work. So we're not only focusing on actually like posting stuff or sharing stuff on social media, but we have to be aware and conscious of everything from responses and replies from the clients to internal messages that we receive in terms of asking for it per se for my client, asking for the location of the actual store. I mean, there's so many things that we have to be on the lookout for. that makes the whole strategy work. Because if we miss one single thing, then the whole strategy just falls apart. um, and it's such a complex job that, I mean, we can just spend the whole day only focused on social media. Of course, for our clients, we have to be focused on different marketing venues,
It's
but
one part of the whole big
exactly,
start, yeah, fully integrated digital strategy, right? Like it's one
I
piece.
agree.
And even the branding is so important. Like, so the colors we choose, the fonts we use, the borders we use, the textures we use, the
Mhm.
icons we use, it all matters, right? In the imagery, you're telling a story visually and with text through social media every day, right? So it is, it's like it's a big job
It
to be
is.
able to like compress it down, have the messaging, have the right products and services, the timing correct, what time of day it should be, all the things, right? Like it's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. You're right. You're right, but it's also fun. I mean, it's fun that although you're not there, like people or customers don't really know who you are, you can actually see like a little bit about their lives, about their passions, about like what they're driven, like what makes them be happy or what makes them interested. And that is also a nice part of it. That is not only like super robotic where you just gotta be focused on all the posts, on all the strategy, as you were saying, but also actually establish real connections. As like when you're being the brand, like you're helping your client be at this brand that connects with their customers. It's a really nice experience, I would say.
Well, I think taking it from, I think people don't want to do business with a company name. They want to
Yeah.
do business with people, right? So taking
Right.
that brand and humanizing it at that level is what our job is from a social media strategist job. Like, how do we
Mhm.
connect in this space? How do we stop the scroll? How do we present the products, the services, the mission, the team? How do we do it in an engaging way that's not just throwing up all over them with sales stuff? Like, how do we balance all of that in a way that makes them
Right.
engage? And while we're not in the stores or in the business buildings, we actually know the customers pretty well. Like,
Great.
they engage with us all the time. So we get to know their names. We know what kind of pets they have, we know what kind of food they like we actually get to know them pretty well. So it's a way to truly connect. And if you don't go in with the role of connecting, like that goal of connecting, I think you're
Mhm.
missing the whole point.
The whole
So
point. I agree.
um yeah, I think it has to be fun and you have to be passionate
Yeah,
about it. You have to want to connect.
exactly. That's the right answer. Yeah, I agree.
um so social media platforms are evolving like on the daily. So I know one of our goals is just kind of stay on top of things. Like one of our core values as a company is innovation. And I've
Mhm.
always been kind of ahead on where social media sits from when social media first started out. So it's really important for me to kind of stay on that cutting edge of what's happening. So how do we stay updated and with the latest trends and changes, and what strategies do we use to adapt on a daily basis for our content? Like how do we do that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, as a social media manager, we have, first of all, our mindset has to be that things can change like from 1 hour to the next. So we really need to be aware of what is happening around, to be prepared to act on it as soon as we can. There's so many cool strategies that you've given us, actually. One being for people that don't know about Google Alerts. Um, and that was something that came to my mind straight away because it's a really nice way to be um, aware of things that we want to be aware of instantly.
Yep.
So Google allows you to actually include a keyword or include a specific subject, in this case, social media, and it just gives us important news and important articles that are coming out each day. that lets us know what is going on. Maybe, for example, when everything was happening with threads on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, trying to compete with Twitter, now X, um, it was just being on the internet 24/7,
Yep.
just looking around, seeing what's going to happen. I think that's the best way. Um, and as I said, first of all, we have to keep in mind that it can just change super quickly. So we have to be ready to go for when
We
it
have
happens.
so many tools that we use for social media between
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, X, and now Threads. And there's others that are out there, right? There's Snapchat. There's
Mhm.
LinkedIn. I mean, there's so many places that you need to be at based on your target market where they hang out. And we have to know all those tools. And we can't possibly expect a so small business owner who makes a widget to know all of those things. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
our job to make sure we are on the cutting edge. We
Mhm.
have a training library that we work with. We meet monthly and talk about these tools on a regular basis. We look at engagement, we look at times. We're always analyzing, seeing what is the best way to use this tool. And even like demographics have changed on some of these tools. Like Facebook is skewing older now, and things like, and Instagram is even skewing older. It used to be a little bit younger, but now generations are changing. So we're always kind of watching and seeing how these tools are evolving. We're always, like you said, the Google alerts. That's something that any business can do. They can put a Google
Mhm.
alert in for themselves, for their business, for their industry, for their community, for a specific term they want to learn about, and Google will bring that information right to your inbox when it happens. That's a great tip. That's like a $10,000 tip there, Sam, for people. So that's a really great way to like stay on top of a certain subject. And then we also take trainings and different things and webinars as well, and learn about different ways to use tools. Um,
Correct.
just expanding our excuse me, our knowledge all the time.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So, can you share like a success story where you effectively managed social media and led to a significant increase for brand awareness and or engagement? And what were the key strategies behind that success? What did you do to make it happen?
Oh yeah. I think the last one that we did was when our client, the Pet Bistro, opened their second store. It was a fun process and progress because we wanted to keep it hidden for a while. We wanted to tease people that our client was going to open the second store without actually spoiling what was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
So it was a great strategy that we implemented. We took um, the month prior to the opening, and we laid out different ideas for posts that could be fun for people to engage with, asking them to figure out what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So we just teasing people with little phrases, guess what's coming,
Yeah.
a photo of like just a little part of the new store with one
Yep.
of the owner's cats, actually, that people know from social media and they love. Um, and seeing the cat there, like standing, looking out the window, seeing what's going on when a worker was bringing something inside, and different pictures, different posts about that. They were super fun for people to engage with, and for eventually us revealing the big announcement of the opening of the store. And he brought a lot of new a lot of new followers that eventually also lead to possibly new customers, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, one of the main goals of social media for small businesses: drive sales. So
So in that campaign that we did, we wanted to build excitement towards what was happening, but we didn't want to reveal the actual thing. And it was like a
yes,
real fine line we had to walk. Like, and there were people who were guessing,
yeah,
and we didn't want to like we wanted to encourage them to participate, but not tell the secrets. And
yeah,
it was such a fun campaign to be part of for that client because we worked with that client for like 12 years. So it was super fun for that second store to open and to have that success and all the people that love them already, and then to get new people into the fold was very exciting as well.
That's true.
So how, with so many different social media platforms that are even available now, we just kind of talked about a few of them. How do we determine which ones are the best fit for a particular brand or small business?
So you were saying earlier that now we're seeing Instagram get older, which in a sense means that so let's say with what happened with Facebook at first, it was
College kids.
exactly it was created by a college kid, so it was like crazy for a younger audience.
Yes,
Then it
yes.
started to get older, and now the demographic for Facebook is people between 35 to, let's say, 35 and up. um, and that is actually the demographic that we want and that we target for our client, the pet bistro. Maybe for other clients that we have, they could be even older or a little bit younger as well, maybe in their 20s and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe for urban week, and that makes it like we have to see what could be the demographic for each platform, and then we decide, okay, this is the platform that we need to use. But we also need to take into account about what each specific platform is for. If you think about, for example, X is not a lot of graphics and images, but more text and small um, pieces of information. um, and so we need to take that into account and think with our client what could be our best fit. So if it's more things that are captivating to the eye of the customer, then we're going to use Instagram. We're going to use Facebook for more informational stuff, but that can also be longer in length. So as I've said multiple times, it's always best if we do research beforehand, see what the client demographic, what the small businesses demographic is, so then we can decide based off what the demographic of the actual platform is.
And the goals. I mean, if the goal is when I was first starting out, like LinkedIn was the boardroom and Facebook was the backyard
Yeah.
barbecue, and like we kind of had these like thought processes of where like what kind of content would go where. So even like the types of content, if it's video content, where does that sit? Like there's all kinds of things, although things are more video than ever, and it's gonna go that way, obviously. But even like the day that my dad got on Facebook, I literally was like, it's a Christmas miracle because it was
Yeah.
Christmas. And the only reason why he got on there, and my dad is 71 now, was because his grandkids were on there. Like I was
Mm,
posting pictures of my kids. And he was
yeah.
like, well, if I'm gonna stay like in the know, I gotta be on there. And I kept telling him for years, like probably 6 years, Sam, you need to be on Facebook. Like you need to like check it out. So all of us have been like dragging our parents into it. Like if they want to stay connected in this very busy world, this is a way to stay connected, right? So
Mhm.
um, if your target market is in that, then you want to be talking to those people and you want to be connecting with those people. So that's, I think, important to think about. So I think one of the things that I think is super important. We talk about content planning being super important. That's my assistant, Susie. Sorry about that. It is a crucial part of social media management. So, what steps do you take to create a content calendar that aligns with the brand's goals and resonates with its audience? We call it a social media a matrix. Like there's different content pieces that can be put into any calendar. But then on top of those critical pieces, like meet the team Mondays or testimonial Tuesdays or whatever we decide for that particular client. Feature Fridays, like we have all kinds of things that we kind of come up with as fun little like content pieces. But what are some of the other things that we think about when we plug in? It's like a big equation. What do we plug
Exactly.
into that equation for our customers?
Yes. So first of all, my client specifically, we use specific days of the month. Let's say we're celebrating um, for September, we're celebrating Mushroom Month. And the fun thing is, the Pet Bistro has quite a few mushroom based or mushroom infused products,
Yeah.
which are very good for dogs and cats. So we try to focus and use September is mushroom month and get a few posts um, about that specific subject. And we do that for, let's say, it's National Dog Week, and then we start featuring dogs from our own customers, so user generated content as well, and we start featuring that, and that is also super fun for other people to see that we're featuring their pets,
Yeah.
and things like that. But yeah, as you said, it's a huge equation on, we have to figure out if we have any sales or if we have any events, because those are also very important for
Yeah.
customers and followers to know. And it's just the whole planning. And as we do it with our clients, we usually meet a month. So we met this first few days of September to talk about planning for October, including social media planning and all the other bits and pieces of it. But so we talk about what the sales is gonna be, if we're gonna offer um, treats. Let's say it's cat month and we're gonna offer 20% of cat treats or not, and then how are we gonna actually portray that to the followers. So not only keep that information to us, but actually how are we gonna talk about it to our followers?
Hmm.
And that's the most important thing, because we also don't want to generate, say, false expectations for the followers, saying that we're going
Yeah.
to do something when we really aren't. So we have to be very, very meticulous about each step that we take, so that our information, the correct information, is translated
Hmm.
to our followers as well.
Well, yeah, so we have like September is really big for apples. So in
Mhm.
Michigan, so we talk about apples, we talk about mushrooms, we talk about all kinds of things we've tied into it. We've also got, like you said, regular deals and specials happening that we have to coordinate with the team in the store. So we have a marketing calendar that we kind of work off of that lets us know what's happening. We update it and then also let the team know so they can make sure they know what's happening as far as social or email marketing or anything else that we're doing that we're posting. And then we also have to sometimes work with partners and vendors of the store to maybe get a special or some kind of offer for us to even feature as well. So there's a lot of coordination that goes into. Plus, then once we know what's happening, we have to get the graphics developed. We have to, I
Right.
mean, there's just a lot that goes into a very well executed social media strategy and
Yes.
content calendar between the social media matrix of what we know we want to share. There is we talk about equations. We talk about you don't want to just do all business all the time. You want fun memes and you want
Exactly.
like, comment, and
Informative.
share, and those kinds of things as well. So 80% should be informative or educational or humorous type content, and then 20% should be related to your sales. Just
Yes.
as a general rule, I mean, you can, it's 81% or whatever, it's okay.
Yeah.
um but and at the end of the day, the whole thing has to be really focused on what's in it for the customer. And then how does that translate to business for the small business, right? So we have to think of all the things and consider. So some specials we have, like our Bistro Bash, remember we kind of launched it on Instagram. It was a way to kind of
Mhm.
develop our Instagram. So what
Also,
content lives on which tool as well? Not every content piece goes on every tool. So how do you make it a unique experience on every tool as well? So there's just a lot that goes into that equation, and if you do it right, it shouldn't be
yes.
kind of complicated, I
Uh-huh.
believe. So,
Exactly. It should be.
uh, so let's see here. Social media managers often deal with some negative comments and crises. So one thing that we do with our customers, I know, is we have like in our contract that we'll check social at least a minimum of one time a day to make sure like nothing, there's no trolls,
Everything.
and I feel like since COVID, people are just crankier for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So what kind of things do you do as a social media manager as far as like managing? I mean, it's great when you have like raging raving fans, but when you have raging fans, like, we don't
I
want
agree.
raving people. So how do we deal with that?
Yes. Thankfully, the Pet Bistro really does have way more
Yes.
like encouraging fans and people that are always like commenting positive stuff. Of course, there's the one, the odd person that's gonna comment something that they don't like personally for them. The first step we do is straight away. Um, when I'm managing it, tell you, since you're the like the next step, to ask what do we do with this person. Maybe it's a customer that really isn't like going every week, every 2 weeks to the store, but maybe the casual customer that maybe um, didn't have their order like delivered correctly, maybe with the
Stuff happens
incorrect
in business,
product.
right? Like it just happens.
Exactly.
We're
It just happened.
humans and it happens.
Exactly. And then we follow with the owner, Jill, in this case, see what, like, if she knows what's going on and how we can handle it. So, as an example, one time, um, just to put everyone into perspective, we have around 450 reviews on Google My Business for one of the stores. And we have a 4.8 rating, which is phenomenal.
Hmm.
One time we got a 1-star rating from someone that had a problem with their order and asking why one of the offers was not available online, even though the disclaimer said it is only available in store. So we had to handle it very personally with that customer. One of the store managers had to call her personally and say what was going on, explained everything, and then that person was able to change the review and was happy actually that we called her personally.
Hmm.
So I would say like the main way to deal with that is deal with it. Like don't let it just be just because you have 449 5-star reviews on
Yes.
1 star, just let it be. But instead, like actually go to that person and personally and say, okay, here's what's going on. How can we help you to make it better? And then hopefully that person understands, and then they can change their mind on things.
So, one thing that I think I always say is that you answer every single review,
Hmm.
negative or positive.
Hmm.
Positive reviews, you need to acknowledge people who give you a compliment. Like,
Yes.
acknowledge them. You want those people to be more complimentary, and people are just impressed when you reply. And be personal in your reply. Use their name. Respond with whatever they talked about. So if they said, it was such a nice experience, the staff was really great, reply with, we love what we do, we're so glad it shows. Like, actually genuinely reply to the review, because
Correct.
you're human. Reply as a human. And when you
Hmm.
have a negative experience, new customers do not expect you to be perfect, but they do expect you to respond. And it's
Uh-huh.
how you respond
Exactly.
publicly that matters. So the fact that you're like, hey, thank you for the feedback. We did not live up to our promise there. We are going to do some training around this, and we
Mhm.
appreciate the feedback, and we will do better next time. Like it, that in itself is just a
They
very
just
real comment.
Mhm.
Like
Exactly.
we'll do better. Or you know what? We're gonna have a manager call you and try to figure this out, and that
Yes.
matters. And then the manager better call. So it's a coordinate. I feel like as social media managers now more than ever, we are customer service agents as well. So we
Yes, I agree.
escalate
I agree.
as we need to, right? Like if we need to escalate, most comments we can kind of handle, but if we need to
Yes.
escalate it to get it resolved, we talk to the managers, or we talk to the owners, and we make sure the next step happens so that person doesn't get fall through the cracks. And if someone's
Exactly.
not monitoring that or managing that, you can just have people sitting there waiting to have a reply and just
Yeah.
stewing. And then they'll go and they'll write another negative review on the next, like if they're on Threads or if they're on Facebook, or if they have no problem saying how horrible you are. So
No, I
um
agree.
you need to kind of like catch it quick, resolve it quick, and deal with it so that you can move on and that person isn't just sitting there stoked and
Hmm.
like, getting madder and madder by the minute. So it is important. It is a very important role of a social media manager to handle reviews and be delicate with that and be very judicious in their wording that helps protect the brand, and also lets the customer know that they've been heard and that their problems are being addressed. It's one of the things that I think is the most tenuous of what we do.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Dealing with people, I mean, of course, it's always going to be nice when you deal with people that
Who
are
love you.
happy with what you're
Yeah.
doing. But
Yes.
when they're not, and sometimes they're angry, or they have a bad perspective of us. Usually, no, I'm not saying all the time, but usually it's from their own personal
Yes, for sure.
experience,
Yes.
instead of
And the
like what
kind of day they've been
we have.
having. Yes. Their lived experience, the kind of day they've
Exactly.
had. Maybe they're the third we're the third candle store or the third whatever they've tried, and it's just you don't know
Exactly.
what they've been through to get to you. So but I do think that people are crankier now than more than ever. Like I've been doing this for a long time and I feel like people are really cranky. I also feel like the spam bots and all that are at an all-time high as well. And one of the things that
Unreal.
we do with spam is we go in. If I had $1 for every time I saw a post of like, I
It's
love
crazy.
your post, we should talk,
Yeah.
um, from some gentleman, some fake gentleman on our posts. But we make sure to block those and hide those and keep those
Yeah.
under wraps as well. So nobody's like invading your content and annoying your
Yeah.
customers either, which is really important. But I would be very wealthy if I had $1 for every one of those messages I had to block or hide. And then I think that kind of the last piece is, it's great to schedule posts. It's great to have this equation, but how do you know that it's working? How do you measure it? And how do you tweak it based on what you're finding in your measurements?
Yes. Great question, because actually I was talking with a new member of the team earlier today. I was giving her some social media tips, and also about our scheduling platform, which is called Cloud, which we use for posting for our
Our
clients.
content calendars, like we actually
Correct.
post out like the whole calendar, yeah, which
Yes, and
tool
I
and where it
told her
goes, and like, yeah, it's a
exactly
whole thing.
like
Yes. Uh-huh.
every like I was literally like giving her a class about it. But it's super interesting to see like all the analytics side of things. We cannot only be focused on what's going on right now, replying to the comments, the actual posts, but actually see what's working and what's not. One thing I told her was, at first, before I started with everything and to get to where I'm at today with the posting, I told her what I did was go through the past year of posts before I came in and
Mm-hmm.
see what was working and what wasn't. And
Mm-hmm.
from that on, I saw what was. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as
Do
people
more
say.
of what works. Yes, of course. Do less of what's not working.
Exactly.
Or tweak it to see if that new
Exactly.
thing will work. Yes, that's throwing good money after bad if you're just doing the things that don't work, for sure.
Exactly. Exactly. And so that's what I started doing. Things were working, things were getting good likes, and I left them as they were, maybe tweak, of course, the verbiage, tweak the graphic and stuff, but
Imagery is
the actual
important. Yeah.
content of what people like was the one that I was keeping. And then the one that wasn't really being engaged with as much, then I tried to um, come up with different ideas and stuff. And then as the time went by, I started realizing a lot more things that people were liking. So, as an example, people like the Pet Bistro followers love user generated content and content at the store. So before we were doing this, like, I would say like generic type of graphic where it didn't really like relate with the store that people know and love,
Mm-hmm.
and so the people wasn't really interested as much as they are now. with the same topic but with different graphics, with relating it more with, let's say, there with the staff, because a lot of people know the staff very well, and that's the unique part about the pet bistro, is that the people that know us, they really are raging fans, and so
Hmm.
when they see their favorite staff member, they go super crazy, and then they start engaging more. And also a nice part that we do personally, we have a specific scorecard for each client, where we keep all the analytics side of things.
Hmm.
So all the engagement rate,
Hmm.
the links, the
Hmm.
shares, the everything, the
The
engagement
reach.
itself,
Yep. Hmm.
exactly everything. We keep it, um, and we realize, okay, this week was super good in terms of engagement. What did we do for this
Hmm.
week to be so good? And then we go back to the posts, see which one was the one that was driving the
Hmm.
traffic, and then see, okay, this is something people like, so let's do more of that. And then with the ones that aren't doing as great, then okay, let's see if we can find another alternative, and still push it. And then that's like, it's a whole process, as you were saying. It's a whole equation. It's not only
Hmm.
paying attention to one thing, but the overall picture is
Hmm.
what we need to pay attention to.
So when you first started, I think you probably had like a vision of what social media was about because you had been a consumer of social media.
Correct.
And you learned about marketing in school, and I know what you learned in marketing was way different than what I learned in marketing
Correct.
just a few decades ago. Um, but a lot of the principles are the same. It's just the tool is different, and the way you can communicate that might be just a slightly different and unique. But what was the biggest thing do you think that you were surprised about when you started to dig in and like really get to know what it means to create this matrix and content calendar and look at the metrics? Because I remember challenging you a long time ago about there's numbers, but there's a story behind the numbers, right? It's not just numbers. There's actually like these correlate to a story, and you see trends and you start to see things. But what are like
Mhm.
some of the big things that you think that you or the thing that was like the most shocking or the most revelating thing for yourself when you first started doing social media for a business as opposed to yourself?
Yes, there's something really cool on Facebook. I wish it was there on the other platforms, but thankfully Facebook is the one that we focus on the most.
Hmm.
And it's really fun when I follow her comments and you see a little diamond saying top fan. I didn't really know it existed before, um, and it's so sick to see, because like Facebook actually tells you who is
Yes.
commenting, so they gain this top fan, like
Badge. Yeah.
badge,
Yeah.
exactly, whenever they're commenting on, like, however many posts they're
Hmm.
sharing with their contacts. And it's really nice, because then those are the type of people that actually you kind of make a connection with, even though they maybe don't even realize it, that you're making a connection with. But now I know a few of those people, in terms of what they, as you were saying at the beginning, what they like, what their
Yeah.
pets like, what they
Yeah.
enjoy, like doing on their free time even, because we ask them like engaging questions and personal questions, so that they can answer. And that's been a super fun experience that I didn't even know it was going to happen, like, um, being knowing someone, like, at least in surface level, that I didn't even know it exist, like that person existed before. So I think that's a really nice part. And as we were talking about, in the beginning, is like, if you have passion for it, and you want to actually uh, engage and make your client more personal, then it's a really nice part of the job, I would say.
I think that's kind of the rewarding part at the end of the day is like And I love finding really cute content to share and things like I love
Yeah.
curating the content too. Like that to me is because you're like telling a story. You're literally like writing a story for them for the month. You know, it's kind of a
Right.
cool thing to see. And then you get to see the results and you get to see like as it's happening, like live, you can tell, right? So what is some advice you would give to aspiring social media managers or even small business owners who want to do social media for themselves? And what skills or qualities do you think is most valuable for the success of a social media strategy and engagement?
Yeah, I think the main one of the main talking points we've had is you have to want it. You have to like it, enjoy getting to know people at least at a surface level. And even like working behind the scenes because there's people that maybe like the spotlight. So right now I'm like they don't know it's me. They haven't
Yeah,
seen my face, but I
yeah.
don't mind it. I
I feel
like
like
it.
the Wizard of Oz, like the man behind the curtain sometimes. Like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the main reasons that you have to like have a way to connect with different type of people, find a way to connect with them because they're like the followers aren't just one avatar, but actually they're multiple type of personalities and people. And if you are good at engaging with them, then it just makes the whole experience nicer for them and for you as well.
You should definitely create your content based on your avatar in your avatar journey and how you
Yeah.
want people to funnel through, right? So you should definitely understand that as well. So one of the things that we do with clients is we spend, an hour and a half
Mhm.
talking to them, going through a social media tool with them, giving them some tips and tricks and really helping them to manage their own if they want to, or we can help them manage their entire social media strategy. There's a couple different options there. So we can kind of audit it, give you some ideas, give you some suggestions. I call it like, take it to the next level or amp it up. But there's also, if it's like, you know what, this is too much.
Uh-huh.
I'm tap out. We can guide you through that process in the sense of like help you with what content should we create, what do we need from you. And I think the other thing that's kind of cool that we do, because a lot of business owners are super busy, is we hold them accountable. Like
Yeah.
marketing kind of gets pushed to the side. There's a lot of things that a business owner has to do. They have to do operations, they have to sell, they sometimes have to make it, they sometimes have to, and it's
Uh-huh.
just like one more thing. And if they don't love doing it, then
Then
it just
it's
kind of
a
gets
problem.
to the side and it doesn't get any love.
Hmm.
And it doesn't help your business. So we create calendars and we kind of hold ourselves to the calendar. We make sure that it moves forward, and just really like it's never forgotten. Susie, come here.
Correct.
Um, so we just want to make sure that we are here to help guide you, or we can help do it for you. So there's
Exactly.
like the two sides of it. We want small businesses to be successful in the social media space. It's super important. So that is something that we try to really encourage.
Focus.
And don't
Yeah.
be scared of it. Like it sounds like a lot. Like we've talked about a lot, Sam. I don't want to scare people, but I do
Yeah.
want you to know that it's not more. It's more than just slapping up an image and a
And putting
sentence.
a caption on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of thought that's put into like captions and stuff.
Absolutely.
Thankfully, with AI now, it kind of helps us a lot
Mhm.
with some of our content and being creative and giving us a lot of inspiration,
Exactly.
which has been awesome because there's only so many ways you can like
Yeah.
say like, comment, share,
Exactly.
or check out this cute dog. Like there's only so many ways that we think of humans. And so AI does help us say it differently and then we put our own spin on it. So there are tools that can help you, and we can also guide you to some tools that can help you and make it a little bit easier as well for you if you decide that you want to do it yourself. Sam, is there anything that we have not talked about that we should tell small business owners? I don't
Just
know. It's a lot. We're at minute
covered.
48. Like how did it get to 48 minutes?
Honestly no idea. I was thinking the same thing. Like what, 15 minutes now? Crazy.
Yeah. This is like I feel like the tip of the iceberg too. You've seen like an iceberg in the ocean. Like the tip is what you see on
Yeah,
the
it's like
outside for the stream, but you see underneath the water, there's
Mhm.
just so much underneath that matters. And like you said, I think you don't have a passion for it or don't have a love for it, it's going to come across, you know? So,
Yeah.
we specifically work with companies that we really enjoy the content. I mean, dogs and cats, come on, like that's marketing gold. However, not all of our clients are dogs and cats. A lot of them are, but not all of them are. Um,
Yeah.
so that's something that we can help you like find that gold for your company too. So I guess thank you for watching our live stream. And
Yes.
Sam, now you should be a pro, right? Like you're like our live stream pro, right?
Yeah. Now I feel a little bit more comfortable
Yeah.
doing lives. Imagine like doing 15-minute live.
When
People
you
don't
think
even
about the
realize.
idea of that, yes, yes, yes.
It's
So,
been. Thank you for having me, BC. Yeah.
well, thank you so much, Sam. I appreciate everything you do for us. So we hope that you found this information informative and helpful and maybe demystified a little bit. As a small business marketing agency, we understand how crucial having a strong social media presence is to reach your target audience and grow your business. That's the goal always, right? To grow the business. So social media is ever changing, and staying on top of the latest trends can be exhausting. And even the best practices, like what are the best tips and what works. We know it can be overwhelming, and we don't want you to be overwhelmed. So that's where we come in, and our team at BC and Associates Marketing specializes in social media management and can help take your social media presence to the next level. We offer the social surge power up session that can provide the tools and strategies necessary to boost your social media engagement and reach. And our team will work with you to develop a customized plan that aligns with your business goals and help you stand out in the crowd and in the digital space and really cut through the noise and clutter. So don't let your social media presence fall behind. Don't push it aside one more time. Because what's going to happen is your competitor's going to do it, and then you're going to be stuck in the last seat in the race. So don't let that happen. Give us a call at 971-238-3759 or email us at info@bcassociatesmarketing.com to learn more about our social surge power up session and how we can help you achieve success on social media. So we look forward from hearing from you. Maybe Sam or I will help you go to the next
Yeah.
level. But until our next one, I think we are going to do another live, Sam, on newsletters and email marketing. Is that what we talked about?
Yes. That's
So
right.
maybe in October we can do that. We have a couple others kind of sitting out there too as topics, but it's going to be coming. Emails and newsletters. Email marketing is like huge, and just because there's social and texting doesn't mean that's not important anymore. So
Right.
topics to come. Thank you so much, Sam. I appreciate it.
Thank you, BC. Thank you very much.
Bye,
This was
everyone.
awesome. Bye.